Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about potential tropical cyclone 16. So I'm going to be talking about it like briefly because it's going to be like something. It's going to cause some impact. So I'm going to be talking about it and update people across the panhandle of Florida all the way to Alabama and like Mississippi and in parts of eastern parts of Louisiana. So as you can see here, the wind field's very asymmetric. It's all northeast and southeastern based, like the colder winds. That means it's very asymmetric, and the western side's basically dry, which it is. I'll show you on the IR loop in a minute. So the western side's pretty dry, so the wind's pretty like weak on the western side, but on the eastern side it'll be more of a kick. And this will become more evident as it approaches land. Like the winds could become like a moderate or a strong tropical storm, like in gusts, as it approaches the coastline of the panhandle of Florida, and it could expand a bit. So I could definitely see Louisiana all the way to the panhandle of Florida. Could definitely see some gusty winds, potentially to a high-end tropical storm force. You could see minor surge. It's definitely like flooding in the forecast, maybe even some rainfall flooding as well. So definitely like something to keep an eye on. It will cause problems. Like, it's a tropical storm at the end of the day. Like, it's not gonna like you can't go, oh well, it's not a full-blown hurricane, it's not gonna do anything. It's definitely gonna cause like some issues. It's mainly gonna cause rainfall issues and flooding problems and minor surge, and that, like, even if it's a tropical storm, take it as serious as you would for a hurricane. Just prepare as you normally would. Have your hurricane plan ready, a generator in case the power goes out. Just make sure you have everything in place as you would for a hurricane. And as you can see, it's very asymmetric due to the westerly wind shear. The wind shear is over 30 knots in a minute, and I'm gonna show you in a minute like how it looks. So like the westerly shear is coming in from the west, and it's pushing against it from the west to the east. So all the clouds have been shunted off to the east, and that's why the wind feels all eastern north sided based. So like that's why there's no that's why the winds aren't like that strong on the western side, is because the shear and the dry air is ripping in from the west, and it's keeping the western side dry. And when the shear is high, it doesn't allow the thunderstorms to stack up vertically and develop and become vertically stacked. But when they become vertically stacked and the wind shear is low, it can just build up. The cumulus clouds can build up vertically without being disrupted. The low level and mid level circulation will become vertically stacked. Then that's when it can start to form an inner core. But this scenario is much different. The westerly wind shear is pushing in from is coming in from the west here, and that's stopping from any vertically stacking from happening. And I'm going to show you like how it looks now on IR. And as you can see here, so obviously the colder the cloud tops are, as you get towards the pink, so it becomes -80 to -90. But we don't even have to, well, we can pay like attention to that, because obviously the higher the cloud tops, going to create more rainfall, so it could cause more flooding down the line. But he has the low level circulation embedded in here, and you can see the shear is ripping in from the west here, and you can see the clouds are just being shunted off way up to the north, way up to the northeast here. It's just not healthy looking at all. And if we look at the shortwave IR here, you can see like how the clouds are looking, and it's just being shunted off to the west, and you can actually see the shear evident here. And if we look at the GFS model here, the latest one, you can see there's two orbs of circulation here. So you can see there's a bit of circulation here, and there's a bit of like circulation here. So it's not that healthy looking at all, really. And as we go on, it does start to become more stacked than it was, but the shear is ripping in still from the west, and it's just not looking healthy at all, really. And even then, the wind will be based towards the east, and I could definitely see some heavy rain with this and flooding towards the panhandle of Florida, and like Like, so anywhere from the eastern parts of Louisiana all the way to Florida could cause like flooding issues. Here's the vorticity here. So this is spinning the atmosphere. So the higher up on the scale it becomes, the more vigorous and more energized and more consolidated the vorticity the spin is. So as we go on here, it like as we go on into Friday, even in Zulu time, you can see the vorticity is just very sporadic. There's like quite a few dark orange to maroon orbs here around the very broad like circulation. So it just shows it's not healthy looking. It's just not consolidated. Like what you want to say, it's a very tightly wounded up vorticity here, like around the 50 area, and like where it's like very condensed and it's very like tightly formed. But here it's just very all over the place. As it gets towards landfall, it does become a slightly bit better organized, but even then like the shear is still prevalent, and it's just keeping it from intensifying. And if I show you see, like, it's not that much in line really between the different areas of the atmosphere. It's not as vertically stacked, so it's quite misaligned. And if I show you the IR, the GFS IR isn't the best. They'll give you an idea. So the low pressure circulations around here, and you can see it's all northeastern based. It's kind of like a comma, kind of, and like that's kind of like a typical storm that you would get in Britain. It becomes like more of a extra tropical looking feature. It'll probably be more tropical because the warm sea surface temperatures and like all that, it'll keep the core warm, so it'll probably be more sort of a tropical storm feature. But it kind of does look like an extra tropical storm, where it's kind of like your typical comma shape in it, and all the convections away from the center. When the convections away from the center, that's when it's more of an extra tropical to a tropical storm. And you're going to see it just doesn't look healthy at all. If I quickly show you the shear on here, hold on, I'll have to go back on here. If I show you the shear, yeah, we can see the shear is just really unfavorable here. It's like 30 to 40 plus knots, and it's coming in screaming from the west. So shear is just not favorable at all, really, for this to develop. And if we look at humidity here, the relative humidity, you can see there's a lot of dry air being circulated into the southwestern to the south side. So like that's why it's got a comma shaped appearance. So all the cloud convections kind of going up here and circulating like that. So it's kind of like a comma shaped appearance. So like that's why it's like got no convection around the centers, because the dry air in the westerly shear is preventing that from happening. And if I look at the sound in here, so basically you can see how the shear is pretty high. It's like 33 plus knots here, and it just doesn't look favorable at all. And there's going to be a lot of down bursts as well. So when the convection tries to build up, a downburst starts to push down on the convection, and it'll start to suppress it, and it'll start to die down. So it'll go through kind of like pulses, and then it'll die back down, pulse back up, and die back down. So it just doesn't look favorable at all. And then if we quickly look at the ECM here, you can see, if I go on MSLP anomaly here, you can see it does become better organized, but it still looks terrible as it approaches land. It'll still be like a comma shaped appearance. It will cause moderate to strong tropical storm force wind gusts along the Panhandle of Florida all the way to the eastern parts of Louisiana. So as I said, you need to keep an eye on this. Prepare as you would for a hurricane. Expect flooding, potential gusty winds as well, some minor surge. So this is not, so you can't think, well, it's gonna be sheared, it's gonna be a weak storm, I'm not gonna worry about it. This will be a noticeable system. It will cause some problems, and people have died through these kind of storms, like weak storms. So it's worth to keep an eye on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.